Hi everybody, I'm Milan Kane, and this is my YouTube channel for mothers. So today on my Instagram, I put up a post asking for people to give me their ideas on what they think that I should talk about today. So here's a couple that people said. One, postpartum depression. Has it affected you? And if so, in what way? And when did you realize? Two, people who were excited that you were pregnant, where are they now and are they still in your life? Three, maintaining friendships, friends that you lost and also gained. hmm Also, significant changes in your life since becoming a mother. Biggest challenge of motherhood, having personal time without feeling guilty, dating as a mom, and the importance of keeping your image up while being a mom. Now, all of these topics are great topics that I will eventually discuss on because obviously mothers need to know about this stuff. But today I picked a really serious topic. Today I picked postpartum depression. Has it affected you? If so, in what way? And when did you realize? So I want to start by saying postpartum depression can happen while you're pregnant. It's not just about after pregnancy, it also happens during. Okay? In my case, I have had postpartum depression. I still have postpartum depression. It's just one day at a time you have to take it, right? During the last couple of months of my pregnancy, I had it. I didn't know I had it, but I had it. If you ask anybody in my family, I was the worst to be around. Like, I couldn't, my brother couldn't be around me. I couldn't be around my sisters. The only person I wanted to be around was my mom and my dad. And that's only because they made me feel so much better. But I didn't want to be around nobody. My aunts, my friends, my cousins, my stepmom, my sisters, my brothers, nobody. Like, I just wanted to be to myself. And I didn't know what was going on, why it was like that, but that's when it started. Second, it got worse after the twins was born because they were premature for 2 months, right? They were 2 months early. So once I gave birth to them, their birth was so traumatic to me that it just triggered my depression worse. Like, I cried during the procedure of having them. I cried before, I cried after, I cried during. Like, my son was an emergency C-section because he had no water around him. He had no fluid at all. My water broke while I was in the shower. I didn't know. I was in pain that whole entire day from contractions, so I was going to the hospital anyway. But I was like, let me take a shower. Let me get freshen up before I go. And I guess my water broke, and I didn't know. So I get to the hospital, and they tell me that my son heart rate is dropping, slow, fast, 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 fast. Now in my head, I'm like, damn, like, is it my fault? Like, did I not do something to help? Like, is it because I'm not strong enough to carry him? Is that what it is? Luckily, my daughter, I'm sorry. Luckily, my daughter, she kept pumping fluids to him somehow, even though they was in different sacks. She kept pumping fluids to him, so he was able to survive. I don't understand how it happened, but it happened, and my son survived, and my daughter is his lifeline. But that alone put me in such a depressed state, along with other things that was going on in my life. Like, I wasn't ready. I didn't have everything. I didn't have certain stuff that I wanted them to have when they came home because they were 2 months early. My head, I had 2 months to get their stuff, but it didn't happen that way. So, this is how I realized I was going through depression. After the twins was born, I was in the hospital with them for about a month or two. We were in the hospital because Nova wasn't breathing on her own for a while. Then she started breathing. Then she would stop, and then she would start again. Nasir wasn't eating. They would have to put. They kept trying to feed him, and he wouldn't eat. So they put them in tube in him and all this other stuff. It was a lot, a lot. And I stayed with them for the as long as they were in the hospital. I was in the hospital. And at first, people would come and visit us, but slowly people stopped coming. Slowly, people had other things to do, and I understood that they had a life. Like I wasn't the center of their attention because they had other stuff, and that's fine. You know, I'm a grown. I got kids. I'm okay, right? So in the hospital, I realized I was depressed when the doctors would come in and talk about the twins, and I just started busting out crying. And I didn't know why, but I just bust out crying. And the nurses would come and they would spend extra attention on me and stuff like that. And I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that they were being nice to me. They wanted to talk to me a little bit more, and they kept doing it. They kept talking to me. They kept pushing me to go outside, this, and that. They gave me classes to go to, like just to take my mind off of stuff, but I couldn't. You know, sat, I sat on that bed all day, asking myself, why wasn't I strong enough to carry my babies? Why wasn't I strong enough to take care of them? Why are they in the hospital? Why can't I take them home? Why is all this stuff happening to us? Like, did I not do something while I was pregnant? Did I not take my prenatals the right way? Did all this other stuff? And it just kept hitting me. And at one point at nighttime, Nasir would cry, and I would just sit there listening to him cry and wanting to get up to go help him, but I couldn't. I couldn't get up. And the nurses, thankfully, they were there. They would get up. They would come in, feed him, make sure he okay. They would tell me, no, you sit down, you lay down, you sleep, you get it together, you do all this other stuff to get yourself together, make sure yourself taken care of. And all in my head, I'm thinking, I can't even take care of my own kids. Like, why would I get this precious gift of twins if I can't even take care of them? If I can't even protect them or keep them safe, why would you do this to me? You know, like why did y'all choose me to be their mother? And I would ask myself that over and over and over again because I was stuck in this state of I'm not good enough. And finally, my mom started to realize that I was going deeper and deeper and deeper into my thoughts and deeper and deeper and deeper into this depression state. So she would come out and she'd take me to lunch or take me to get some ice cream or talk to me or discuss things about the twins. And the nurses, they helped me start nursing. They helped me start doing all this stuff to really help me build a connection with the twins and stuff like that. So I felt a little bit better, but in the back of my mind, I still had this doubt, like this doubt that I wasn't good enough, like this doubt that they could have a better mother. Like I'm too young. I'm only 25. I'm not old enough. I'm not mature enough. I'm not established enough. I'm not. I just brought these kids into this world and I doomed them before they even had a chance, which is not true. Cause I was completely ready. I had money saved up. I was on the verge of doing everything I was supposed to do, but it's just in my head. I can't explain it. Just in my head, I kept thinking that I wasn't good enough, right? Fast forward to talking to my mother, I realized what was going on. I talked to her. I told her how I was feeling, and she said it's normal for you to go through postpartum after having a baby. And I said postpartum. I said I'm not going through no postpartum. I'm not that. That's not me. Only this is how I thought. I said Black women don't do postpartum. We don't get postpartum. We have our babies, we take care of our children, and we leave it at that. We don't get postpartum. Wrong. We do get postpartum because I had it, have it. Okay. And then she told me her experience of having postpartum after my little brother was born. I remember my mother going through stuff, but I never remembered her going through it the way she described it. I never remembered all that stuff because I was young, right? So my mom had it, and imagine my mom, the strongest woman I know, she had it. And at that time when she had it, I got hit by a car. So hers plunged just as deep as mine, you know? But it's not talked about a lot. Like in the black community, it's not talked about. Postpartum depression is not talked about enough. Women don't talk about postpartum enough, which needs to be talked about because there's so many going through it and they don't even know. You hear so many cases of women harming their children, killing their children, doing all this stuff and telling themselves that they're just trying to make it so their children is in a better place. That's postpartum talking. They don't think that they're good enough to be a mother. And they are. Okay? So let's fast forward to me taking the twins home. You would think I would start, since I had put myself on a routine, and I would start feeling better and I wouldn't be as depressed. Wrong. I sunk deeper, right? And this time I had my mom, my grandma, their father, all of them was there with me. My father, all of them was there with me. And I sunk deeper and deeper and deeper. I think it was because I had all this pressure on me. Like, y'all expect me to raise these kids, right? Well, duh, they're your children. Of course we expect you to raise your children, Milan. But what I mean is you expect me to do all this stuff, and I don't know half of what I'm doing. I'm just winging it at this point. And then to make things even worse, my mom leaves and go to Dayton. At this time I was living in Ohio. So she leaves to go to Dayton to go for work because she's a travel nurse. So at this time I'm like, I don't have no support system. Yeah, I have their father, but he don't know as much. He don't know that much. He don't, what did he know that I don't know? Like he learning like I'm learning. Okay? And yeah, I have my grandma, but that's a whole nother story. My grandma is a whole different old school, right? So she's a whole different years. And the one person who I thought I would have is gone. So I'm doing this by myself. Then I have everybody's opinion. I'm breastfeeding. I have everybody, well, how long you gonna breastfeed? All this other stuff. Like people have literally made me feel so bad about breastfeeding my own children in public. Because I breastfed my son at this restaurant, y'all making me feel like I'm the bad person. Because I breastfed my children on the airplane, y'all want to make me feel like I'm a bad person when my children is hungry? Oh, y'all have another thing coming. But add that stress onto it, sunk even lower. Or if people found out, because my children did both, they breastfed and it was on Similac. So when people found out I gave them Similac, oh, you give your kids Similac, you don't breastfeed them? Don't you think you should breastfeed them? Don't y'all think y'all should mind y'all business? It don't have nothing to do with y'all, but yet and still y'all attack mothers to the point where they slump into this depressive state, right? And when I realized it was going on, here's some things that I did to help myself feel better, okay? One thing that I did is I started meditating. When I start feeling overwhelmed because of the crying, the playing, the this, and that, I take deep breaths, I count to 10, and I make myself feel better. You know? I do it over and over. And over. Woo. Excuse me, I'm tired because my twins ran me ragged today. And I do it over and over and over. Deep breath, deep breath. I started doing yoga, stretching, all of that stuff. It made me feel better. Drunk a nice glass of tea, a nice glass of mother milk tea because I was breastfeeding, so I would drink mother milk tea. Help my boobs get produce milk, along with calming my nerves. Chamomile tea. I would go for a walk. I'll take the twins for a walk. I'll take them outside, go for a walk, do all this stuff. That helped for a while. But then as they got older, they start to get a little bit more active. And for me, their activeness was on a whole nother scale because I have two. I don't just have one, I have two. And my son is very active. So I slumped again because of circumstances. I had to do it all by myself. So I slumped again, and it was hard, right? Because then this time, my mom is in Louisiana. This is before I came out to Louisiana with her. My mom is in Louisiana. I'm at home by myself. It's like defeated, crying, upset, mean to every single person. I'm mean to them. And then finally I started exercising. Right? I started exercising, I started eating differently, I started doing all this other stuff to make myself feel better. And I started to feel better, and at the back of my head is still that doubt that I'm not the best mother in the world, or that I'm just this crazy person. But now I talk to my mom about stuff when I'm feeling some type of way. Like if I'm feeling down, or if I'm starting to feel bottled up, or if I'm starting to feel like just anxious, because I have real bad anxiety. So if I'm starting to feel like really anxious or really this and this and that, I talk to my mother. I always talk to my mother because that's my best friend and she helps me. But I do want to talk about another thing. Not all women who has postpartum can get through it. Some women who have postpartum ends up killing themselves, killing the children, harming somebody, doing something, leaving the baby somewhere, and it's real, right? And the symptoms, you can't always tell with the symptoms. I mean, you can't. I I can't tell you the symptoms because everybody's symptoms is different and everybody handle their postpartum differently, and I just want to make it aware that you I just want to make it aware that you can help. You can change it, right? And this is for all of my women who has it or who had it or who think they're going through it but not sure. Take some deep breaths. Do some research. Calm yourself down. Understand that you know yourself better than anybody else. Don't let nobody tell you anything. So if you think you have it and you talk to somebody and they say, oh, you don't have it, you don't know, don't listen to them. Go to therapy. Talk it out. I had a counselor for a little while, talking it out with my counselor. It wasn't that bad. They just told me to change your scenery, do this, put yourself in a positive space. Don't think of yourself in a negative space. Think of yourself in a positive space always, because if you think of yourself in a negative space, that negativity is going to come back on you. And I don't know about you, but I really don't want the negativity. So I pray to my ancestors every day that this negativity get off my back, okay? Because they know what they're doing. Or whoever you pray to, you can pray to them and it will help. Okay? So that's all I have on that topic right now. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but it's basically repeating the same thing, and I don't want to repeat over and over. But that's how I realized that I have postpartum depression. That's my thought on postpartum depression. If you have it, please contact somebody, talk to somebody, help yourself through it. Don't keep it bottled up in, because that's not healthy. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Share it with all of your pregnant friends, or everybody who you think is going through postpartum. If you think it'll help them, share it. I want them to see that they're not alone, because you're not alone. Period. All right. And as always, I do have on my Nova Cosmetics. I do have the Lynn palette, the purple. Isn't that pretty? And I have on these two lip glosses. I have on grape and cashew. That's this color and this color. Yes, and it created this. All right, well, as always, I love you guys, and thank you for listening to my story and my journey. Once again, you can share. You can also go to www.novacosmetics.org to get your makeup from me. And follow us on Instagram, Nova Cosmetics LLC. And if you want to follow my personal Instagram, you can. Is A_true_goddess1. Love y'all. Peace.